And welcome back to the channel, survivors. It is Kodeations. Today we're going to be diving back into the world of Ark, as we've got some exciting updates and news related to Ark Survival Ascended and just simply the Ark community in general. If you guys are hyped up about the new content and improvements coming to the game, well, stick around because we've got a lot to cover. Alrighty guys, first up, let's dive in and talk about the upcoming Aberration DLC, which is still technically on track at the time of recording this video to release on September 4th, 2024. The developers have confirmed that alongside the Aberration DLC map, they are obviously planning to drop the engine upgrade to 5.4. And since then, a lot of players, and myself included, have been worried about them dropping them simultaneously together. Well, in the most recent community crunch, they actually shined a little bit of light and talked about how that necessarily shouldn't be a concern. The developers have confirmed that if the engine upgrade, which is obviously planned to drop simultaneously, gets delayed, that they will still go ahead with the Aberration DLC release. And this is honestly really good news, because the idea or the concern that we've had as players is if they drop them together, it creating a large mess, right? Causing a lot more bugs, a lot more glitches, a lot more potential exploits, rollbacks, you name it, just making the Aberration launch, which everybody right now currently in the Ark community is waiting for and longing for, a giant mess, right? Nobody wants that. Everybody wants a clean, or as clean as it possibly can be here, of an Aberration launch. So the idea that they are aware of this, they understand that, and they are willing to separate the two and still push forward with the Aberration's release and postpone, obviously, the engine upgrade is awesome. Now, with that being said, let's dive in and introduce Cosmo. This little guy was part of the exact same pack that we bought for, back in Scorched Earth. If you guys actually sourced this out and you actually bought this Bob's Tall Tales, it didn't just include the Frontier Adventure pack for Scorched Earth, it included the obviously Steampunk Ascent pack for Aberration, and then last but not least, a third pack here for Extinction whenever that map is dropped. So if you already purchased it, guess what? You will already get yourself this lovely, cute, adorable Cosmo. Currently, right now, at the moment, the only thing we know about Cosmo is that Cosmo is a light source for players on, obviously, a dark map like Aberration. The only thing concrete we have to go off on was posted in the community crunch, and they state Cosmo, a little beacon of light in a dark and aberrant subterranean land, will be available as your loyal companion in the Aberration edition of Bob's Tall Tales, the Steampunk Ascent. And obviously, in true Ark community fashion here, players went crazy with speculation, and a lot of people are thinking that this, beacon of light is not going to be the only ability that this spider, or Cosmo essentially, will offer players, because a lot of the people are comparing this to the Frontier Adventure pack, where they drop the Oasisaur on the Scorched Earth map, and just simply how OP and strong that creature is. Therefore, they're assuming there's going to be some hidden traits or abilities that won't be revealed until the Aberration map drops. As for my personal opinion, I see both sides of this, right? Obviously, on one hand, I completely get it. I understand that looking at something like the Oasisaur, how OP it was, all the other stuff that was included in that pack that was very, very, OP, or gave an advantage to players who owned it versus players who did not. Yeah, one would easily expect that this is not going to be the only ability that Cosmo would provide players who have obviously purchased the pack. But on the other side, I do also think that they're developers, right? And so they're obviously listening to community feedback as time goes on. And so maybe they have learned, from the Oasisaur, situation, and, everybody crying and complaining and being upset about how OP it is. Maybe they scaled it back a little bit, and they are only truly providing, Cosmo as a light beacon for players. I don't know. It's just my thoughts. Now, next up, let's talk about the massive performance engine upgrade, which obviously is going to be the update to Unreal Engine 5.4. Via the recent community crunch, they did a full breakdown talking about, a ton of tech jargon, as I'm just going to save you here. But essentially, what you need to know based on this information is that it's promising a overall 20%, performance boost to all platforms, not just PC, not to just console, basically every platform. They're expecting a 20% overall performance boost. Additionally, they're expecting better memory management for those systems, and also reduced hitching and lagging, so to speak. I have seen tons and tons and tons of other developers and other games and other studios actually praise, 5.4, and have talked about how actually significant it is for, obviously engines to be upgraded to 5.4 coming from, just simply Unreal Engine 5. So that does give me a lot of hope here that this will make a massive difference for the performance of Ark Survival Ascended. But beyond the just simple performance boost, I am really excited to see this propel Ark Survival Ascended in other ways. As they mentioned in the community crunch, they expect that ASA will run far better and have a lower system requirements. And then beyond that here, they also mentioned that by the end of the year, they are looking to release a low system requirements launch option, which obviously would automatically set all of the, graphical sacrifices and, setting sacrifices and everything else to run it efficiently on whatever the low system requirements options are for your rig. So again, just thus allowing a lot more players to dive into Ark Survival Ascended and give it a fair shot. And now with that being said, guys, let's dive into another exciting announcement here. Wildcard recently tweeted that the wait is almost over. Survivors ASE's Ultimate Survival Edition is launching on mobile devices this year. Get ready to play anytime, anywhere. And now what's very interesting about this is that there's already currently an Ark Survival Evolved app on the mobile platform. But nevertheless, it looks like obviously they are pushing forward with dropping a revamped version. And I think this could be a massive win here for Wildcard if they properly do the revamped version of the game. As I know myself, along with other diehard Ark fans, would love nothing more but a version of Ark that you could play on the go. And on top of that, I feel like it has the ability to drive more awareness and new players to the Ark games. However, now as always, I want to give you guys the other side of the coin. And to keep it 100% with you guys, I'm very worried of Ark Survival Evolved, and specifically related to the monetization. The previous or current version of Ark Survival Evolved obviously was a free-to-play game, but alongside it being free-to-play and anybody being able to download and jump in, did also include paid packs where you could specifically buy and target items that you want from these bundles. Not only that, on top of that, they also provided speed-up processes that players could also purchase. And I want to state here, I'm not against microtransactions. I just think that microtransactions need to be done in a specific way that does not hinder the gameplay experience of other players that do not purchase said microtransactions. And I'm very intrigued to see how all of this unfolds, obviously in due time when it comes closer to its official release. And with that being said, survivors, as always, I want to know what your guys' thoughts are down below in the comment section on all of it. Do you think Cosmo will have additional abilities? Do you think Aberration will be dropping on September 4th, or do you think it's going to get delayed even further? I mean, on top of that, do you think that the mobile version of the game is just a cash grab? Do you think they're going to be riddled with microtransactions like the current version of the game is? Or do you think, above all of that, the developers are learning, listening to the community, and potentially going to be dropping a badass, awesome mobile version of Ark? Let me know down below. With that being said, though, guys, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel for everything Ark Survival Ascended and survival games in general related. As always, if you guys are interested in checking out the Discord, I have one of those as well. Links down below in the description. But with that being said, as always, guys, I'll see you on the next one.